blowout in the playoffs.
Frankie, would it be fair to say that the Maple Leafs do not want November to end?
They're hoping November has like 90 days.
The longest month of the year that just continues and continues. For some reason, this team loves November. Last season, they had a terrible start, and then November came, and they flipped the script, won the majority of their games last November, and now this season's been the same. Not the best start, and then November, the calendar flips to November, and all of a sudden, they're winning all their games. So far, their record this month is a nice and tidy 10 wins, 1 regulation loss, and 3 overtime losses, which is the second best record in the month of November in the entire league, only behind the Devils, who, of course, had their 13-game winning streak in that, which, of course, was broken by the Maple Leafs, actually. So let's go through the good, the bad, and the Leafy for this month of November. And for any new listeners, basically, we give one good thing that we liked about the team, one thing that we didn't like so much, and one thing that is Leafy that only seems to happen for this team. So it could be something weird. It could be something fluky. It could, for example, when the Maple Leafs are playing like a third-string goalie that nobody's ever heard of, and he's from like Oshawa, and he comes in and puts up like 40 saves, that's very Leafy. Like, that's typical what you would expect. So basically, that's what it is. So let's start with the good. And there was plenty of good to go around for this month. So what is the one thing you want to key on for this month?
I was going to say one. I'll give you 2 quick ones. Number one, as a coach, nothing we want better than a team buying into a system. Understanding that the Leafs are now down to their 10th, 11th, and 12th used defensemen this year, knowing that you're down again, you mentioned, to their 3rd, 4th stringer, Eric Shalgren. Listen, a lot of depth is a great thing, but you have to adjust. And the fact that they're really embracing team defense. What you're seeing is the wingers coming down to support in the hash marks, the centerman helping out behind the net or behind the red line. Leading the clean exits, as Keith was talking about that last game against Pittsburgh. That translates into better neutral zone, right? So you're not making those long bomb passes. You're making better, more efficient, quick passes, getting out of the zone, get the puck in, and starting on your offense. So I just noticed from a team standpoint, there is a desire to play good defense in their own zone, which is also leading to less high danger chances. And that is a big stat for me that I love. That the fact that the Leafs are not giving up a lot of high danger chances kind of in the house area, keeping things to the outside, not taking really a lot of penalties in their own zone as well. It's just a good overall look, knowing that they've always been known to have these game breakers, but the fact that they can play defense, team defense, they're not really known for that. The fact that they're getting to that trend is a very good sign for me. So I'm really happy to see that. Number 2, we all talk about the split. But Marner and Matthews, I thought about it like this, though. Again, the game against Pittsburgh, they had to put their top shutdown unit on Marner and Tavares, which opened up Matthews to have a 3-point night. So Matthews got the third, sometimes the third pairing defense, the 4th line forward group, got away from Crosby a little bit. So now when you're playing teams, you now have to decide, do I put my best defensive forward group and top defensive pair on a guy who's got a 15, 16 game point streak, or do I put him on the reigning Hart Trophy winner in the league? That is what we wanted to expect when you're breaking up guys like Matthew and Marner. So the fact that they now have a dual threat on 2 lines, great sign for me as well.
The pick your poison effect.
Pick your poison. Love it.
For me, the good could be a couple things. Could be Matt Murray, who's been excellent this month since his return from injury. But I'm going to go with the person you just mentioned, Mitch Marner. He is 1 game away from tying the Maple Leafs points record in terms of consecutive games with a point. He scored a nice goal today against the Detroit Red Wings. So, Mitchie, you know what? It would be awesome to be Mitch Marner, but I think it would be tough to be Mitch Marner at certain points. I think because he's the hometown kid, he takes a lot of heat in this market, sometimes undeservedly so, sometimes deservedly so. And I got to give him credit. He has risen above it each and every time, and he's had a great month here. Let's hope he can sustain it just the way he did at the second half of last year, because right now he's the best right winger in the game.
No argument there.
All right, now the bad. It's tough to choose a bad when your team is winning like the Leafs are this month, but we've been able to narrow down a few. As good Leaf fans, we could always find the negative in something. So what did you have? What did you have for the bad?
It's bad, but it's not like bad in a sense where it's terrible. It's what I'm hoping I predict is wrong. Let's put it that way. Mark Giordano has been a rock for this defense core. Essentially since he's got here. Now he's been asked to take a bulk of the minutes on. He played over 23 minutes against the Penguins and Minnesota on back-to-back nights. You're asking a 39-year-old defenseman to do that. He's got no choice, but he's done it. He's done it admirably well, but you need him for the playoffs. I think they're burning him out too much right now, and the concern I have is an injury or just overall burnout as we get into, kind of the dog days of the season into like February-ish. So I know they have to right now, but
they have no other choice right now.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But it is a very big concern for me. So, and I will give credit where credit is due. Justin Hall has taken on a lot more minutes. It's been okay. He's been okay.
No, he's been a lot better. A lot better.
Yeah, so it's just a concern for me right now. That's all. I'm just hoping when Brody and Riley come back, that there's some rest upcoming for
a little load management.
A little load management. Thank you, Kawhi.
I agree. Give him a couple nights off. It won't hurt him. Got to get him ready for the playoffs, especially later on in the season. If those guys are back and we can afford to do it, why not? We've got the depth on defense, obviously, to give the guy a night off. Why not? And like you said, Justin Hall, like this town wanted to fry him. He was getting the Jake Gardner treatment for the first month of the season, and he's really turned his game around, so he deserves a lot of credit there. For me, the bad is still the 5-on-5 scoring. This team was supposed to be a lot better at it. It seems like they're coming out of that little funk that they were in earlier on in the year. They're starting to score a little bit more 5-on-5 goals as of late, but I think they could be a lot better. And to me, it seems like whenever they're up by a goal or two goals, they're missing that one final goal. And they're creating chances, but they're not able to bury teams and put the game out of reach. So I'd like to see more of that. Just put the foot, stop missing the net and just hunker down, put the puck in the net. I know it's easier said than done in this league, but I'm a Leaf fan, so we want what we want. What can I say? And lastly, the Leafy. I'll go first with this one because you've got a good one. We should end with that one. For me, how can it not be the overtime record? So the Leafs had this amazing month. They went to overtime 3 times and they lost all 3. Their overall team record in overtime is 1-5. Overtime at 3-on-3 is essentially a skills competition. And when you have one of the most skilled teams in the league, it makes absolutely zero sense that they could be this bad in overtime. The last overtime game specifically was probably the worst 3-on-3 overtime game I've ever seen anybody play. So hopefully they can switch that up. I know you had a great idea of how to fix that. You should check out our other
check out that video
on our YouTube channel. Check that out.
Only 2 minutes.
It's only 2 minutes. Worth your time. Trust me. Frankie's got a good idea on how to fix the overtime struggles. So Frankie, why don't you end this off? What has been so Leafy this past month?
Well, we all know about the unfortunate passing of Leafs legend Boreas Salming. Obviously, a very sad occasion. One of the best Leafs to ever play. One of the best defensemen to ever play. Actually, definitely international defenseman. But interesting to note that William Nylander's goal against the Minnesota Wild was the game winner, which tied Boreas Salming for second most goals by a Swedish player in Leaf history. So, and the fact that it's just, fitting being Nylander being the guy to score the game winner the day of when they found out that Salming passed away. It's a good Leafy thing. But it just,
we don't get too many good Leafy things. That was a good one.
Or or the night that they honored Salming, a lot of the Swedes got in on the scoring. Nylander, Holmberg, Engvall, Liljegren, they were all on the score sheet. So it's incredible how things work sometimes in the hockey world. So.
And now the Leafs have the Boria patch on their jerseys. They'll be wearing that for the rest of the year. And hopefully, who knows, they'll be able to deliver some sweet success for Boria wherever he's watching from. That's all from us. Hope you enjoyed it. Let's hope that December is just as great as November was. Take care, everybody.